gentlemen, and we welcome you to our Thursday morning edition of Panola Pride. Our regular guest, of course, Mrs. Legrone, is here with us this morning, and we always have a few announcements, as she said, and as I'm aware that people need to know what's going on, and this is a good way and a good means and a vehicle by which we can share certain information with you. The work on the Old Jail Centennial Cookbook is coming along, and if you have not been aware of what that is, what you're to submit, or that is, selected people were asked to submit certain recipes or recipes for that book, and Miss Nettie Shaw is doing a real great job on getting that stuff together. These books will be printed and available for sale at $10 a piece, and hopefully they'll be ready early December. Good marketing procedure there, because herein would be a very, very good stocking stuffer.
You bet.
And a nice gift for anyone that you need an inexpensive gift for, and or a little extra touch that would be good for those that you want to add that to. So that's good. The burger sale was last Friday, and the community response was such that they exceeded their proposed projection on that sale. You know, the way you, friends in the listening audience, the way that you do that is to sell $5 hamburgers instead of $1.50 hamburgers, or maybe somebody might buy 2 hamburgers for $10 or something like that. And that is a fine way to make a little special contribution in a kind of a small way, but it does add up and it does amount. So when these things come along, be generous, and you'll feel good as a result of it. Well, Ms. Legrone,
of course, we didn't have the $5. I want to be sure that we didn't have the $5 bill on them.
Oh,
but
no,
some did make extra
That's right.
contributions.
That's it. You know, we knew they knew that they were $1.50.
Right.
Now let's see. I want to think.
And they were delicious hamburgers.
I bought 2 hamburgers for $5. So
yes,
I
a lot of people
and
did
I got my money's worth.
A lot of people
I was
did
glad to do that. Well, now, what do you have for us this morning with regards to our program?
Well, we have just been overwhelmed in the last few days with outsiders coming in, tourists, spending the night, eating here in our town, sleeping in our town, and working in our library.
For the purpose, mostly
of genealogy people.
They're looking and digging.
They're looking and digging, and they just sit and say, I can't believe it. I've looked everywhere, and here you have it.
Oh, how great.
And this just thrills us to death. One lady sat Tuesday all day long at the same table, and I kept bringing things to her. Look through this and be sure. She was looking of the connections between Englishes and Andersons, and we have it by the bushels.
Oh, man, she really got bogged down in it, didn't she? Because
and she worked all day till we closed, and she said to me that she had collected enough information to keep her busy sorting through this winter.
Well,
but she says, I will be back. I wish I could stay tonight and come back in the morning, but I have to go. But I will be back here.
Would you say, Ms. Legrone, that for some this type of thing, and I mean this complimentary and not derogatorily, is kind of an addiction? There's some people
that definitely, and it is the in thing now, all over the nation.
Thing.
Very popular,
and
everywhere.
They're seeking.
People are going on vacations to the areas where their ancestors came from to find out about them.
Well,
our people are too. They're
well,
going to
I know that that my sister's husband is a
genealogy.
Well, yeah, he's a history professor and PhD, and he goes off up into Timbuktu and goes through the cemeteries.
Right.
But you see, that none of those places up there have the facility or the information that we have here. And
right.
I think we're to be complimented, and you certainly are for your fine work.
Certainly our collection on cemeteries and death records exceeds anything else in East Texas.
Is that right?
This is true.
Now, is most of your stuff confined here to Panola County?
Well, we started that. I doubt if most of our listeners realize that I personally walked out all the cemeteries in this county myself with
Did
a
you wait?
tape recorder
Oh,
and took the inscription from every gravestone in the county,
Ms. LeGrone.
except lost cemeteries. It took me 10 years, and these 2 books are the result of my search. This is the cemeteries, who's buried there, who and when born, when died, how to get to that cemetery.
Well, that's.
Most people do not know this is
Well, no, I
And
didn't
it
know it,
has
and
not-
I think I know about as much of what
Well,
goes on around here. as
Now,
anybody.
I did this from 1970 to 1980.
You
I
put on your
spent my
boots.
summers.
What'd you do in the morning when the dew was on the grass?
Well, I was teaching when I started this,
Oh.
still full time, and I spent my summers with a jug of ice water in the car, and walking with my tape recorder from grave to grave. The reason I got into I always get into something that's too deep, and it
Yeah,
takes
yeah,
forever
yeah.
to finish it, just like I
You know,
am
I
now.
bet you there's a lot of people going down the road wondering what
They
that crazy,
did.
crazy woman was doing out
Yes,
there
it
in
was
the middle of the
before
cemetery talking
I
to
was
herself.
yes, sir. I was talking on the tape, you know. Sometimes they stopped and asked me, what was I looking for? This happened several times in cemeteries that were on the other side of the county
Yeah,
and everywhere.
And where where folks didn't know you.
Grady saw how serious I was about it. I started this before his death. I was searching for Civil War veterans' graves.
Yes, yeah.
And I
okay.
kept going back looking for them. And I realized I was out at Mount Zion Cemetery. And I came to a big marble marker that had been broken into 4 pieces, and they were scattered over the cemetery, been hit by lawnmowers.
Yeah.
With all the strength I had, I pulled those 4 pieces together so I could read what
So
was
you
on
can
them.
read what was on it.
And it came to me like a bolt of lightning, of thunder, that I was the last person that would read that, because those would be lost. When they're broken, they're lost.
Let me ask you something now, and don't lose your train of thought. But you said Civil War. How do you determine? Was that put on the marker, or
Many times,
or
yes.
would the death,
We have many
the
Civil
death
War.
date, or would the death
Both,
date indicate
both. I searched every way. I searched for the people in voting records and every other kind, and I searched every company that came from East Texas to see who were Panola Countyans. I've done a roll of the Civil War veterans from this
that? So
county.
these cemeteries are all logged, and
Yes.
and the
And I
markers
took
and the
it,
names.
this
and-
was before, of course, that we started the old jail. Didn't have any place to take
yeah,
them.
yeah.
And I took them to the Service League Library and gave them a copy. I did not have them printed. It's too expensive. I just couldn't afford it.
I had somebody tell me that there was a marker down here at this cemetery right here that has on there the name of the person, and then underneath there it says murdered.
Yes,
In,
it's there.
in whatever the date
It's there.
was.
Yes, sir. The name.
And you have that.
I have it. It's
Well,
in
I
this.
declare.
It's in these books because it's in the cemetery.
I see.
Yes, sir. Now then, the Service League Library just had the typescript, just like this is. This is just the typescript. But they redid them and had this hard bound into 3 volumes. And they have it on their shelf at Service League Library. We have not had money to have these hard bound, but we will one day.
Sure.
This is the same information, and we put it together in 2 soft volumes.
Call that soft volume or soft
Yes,
bound or
yes,
something?
it's just
Is
soft bound, but the
is-
information is there.
Is that homemade or is that
Homemade, yes.
Homemade. Okay.
Homemade.
You save money that way. don't
Well,
you? If
yes, you
don't
do,
have the
but
money-
it sure is a lot of work.
It is. I bet.
We've punched every page. and put
Are
them
we
in
getting off from our agenda?
Well,
here?
pretty much. But what I was trying to say is I want people to know what's there, because you cannot complete a genealogical research without finding when they died and where and so on.
How do you have that? Do you have that some way cross-indexed? Or,
I have a listing of the cemeteries,
Yeah.
one by one,
Yeah.
how to get to them,
Yeah.
and then I have the names in each cemetery in alphabetical order.
Okay, alphabetical order by name.
By
Okay,
cemeteries.
all right, Okay.
Yes, the cemeteries are in alphabetical order.
So if the person knows what cemetery they're
Well, all they have to do is come to our library instead of walking the cemetery.
Sure.
See?
Sure.
And still people do not realize this.
And a lot of the people in the local listening audience aren't
Can
aware.
come see. Now then, there are a lot of graves that are lost because they didn't have markers. But this is a record of everyone that had a marker.
Okay.
Plus some that old folks knew about that have been added, you know.
Okay.
Now then, other available resources I want to mention also. I could go on a week about what went into this, and I do want to tell you this. For Adams Cemetery and Reeves Cemetery down on the east side of the county,
yes,
past Deadwood,
yes.
I didn't know those people, the families there, but Grady did, and I had started this, and he went with me. And he would tell me, this is so-and-so's father, and this is such and such. I put all that was on the tape.
Yes.
All right, I couldn't afford new tapes. I took those tapes home. We had a discussion about them. Took them home, transcribed them, the next day erased them. Retaped on that and lost his voice on every one of them.
Oh.
And he knew the people and commented about them. And I lost that. And of course, this has been a grief to me.
And
but
you didn't think about that.
Didn't think about it at the time. See, didn't think because I was just using those tapes over and over.
Something of interest.
Yes, well, it would for me, but for my family. But that's in the past, so we can't grieve over it now. The only thing that was available before I did that was this little book, put together by Mr. J.B. Sanders at Center. Now, a lot of this was done by the boys in the CCC camps.
The created work for a payday
right,
under
right.
a federal program.
And one of their projects was to inventory cemeteries, so they helped with that.
That's good. 1836 to 1964.
Yeah.
I see.
The earliest graves he has recorded, 1836.
Okay.
Now, some of them that I found claim to be earlier than that. For instance, Old Williams Cemetery out here has some graves earlier than that. But anyway, his are a little difficult to find because he doesn't give the names of the cemeteries. He has all of the people buried in this county in alphabetical order.
Oh,
and you got to be a digger to find them. And over here is the number of the cemetery. That's the cemetery name. And he has an index in the first to tell. But it was a good start, yes, sir. But this is in more detail, yes. And then some have gone into more detail even than I did and have done, for instance, Joe Wedgeworth and Dr. Holland and all of them did Bethlehem Cemetery, giving. They went into it and did a new one, and I didn't bring that book, that gives every family connected. The whole thing is in there. All the children of each family, the old-timers, they looked up all these, and the children married. So one grave may have a whole half page of information about it.
And I think one of the
that is a wonderful.
The thrust of what we're trying to say is to inform the people that there is information here.
Much.
And of course, it doesn't come by being collected quite easily. Mr. Grove, listen, I'm digressing here altogether, but I feel comfortable about doing it, not only with the listening audience, but with you. Your school major and your training was in English, and did you minor in art or something like that?
Yeah, both majors. I major in both.
Majored in art and English.
Yes.
Well, all of this stuff here that you're working on is history. How'd you get bunched on that?
I married a historian.
Except for the fact that Grady
he was such a historian, I couldn't escape
Grady was a historian.
It. Yes.
I see.
He said to me,
well,
let me tell you just how. I was doing all kinds of research on literature, you know, when it was written, why it was written, and so on.
Which is kind of...
is a history itself.
In the area, sure, I can understand.
And I was interested in why a man wrote what he wrote.
Yes.
So I had to look up the man and find out about him.
That's history.
All right, so Grady says to me, you ought to get some research done on your family. I said, oh,
those stones, there's nothing in there.
Yeah, well, I said my father was an orphan. I can't research him. He grew up an orphan, and he didn't know anything about him himself.
Yeah.
He said, Grady says, wise man that he was, he said, that is not the reason. You don't feel comfortable about what you might find, and you don't want to run into a horse thief in your family. And he knew that was just a challenge for me because I'm not afraid of anything but a snake.
So then you started hitting
I
it.
started hitting it, and I found that the Stones, my direct ancestors, got to America 99 years ahead of his.
Well, then you said, uh-huh.
Yes, I immediately showed it to him, and he says, well, you and Will Rogers met us at the boat then. And the rest of his life, now this was in the 60s that he got me into it, and he died in 74. But all of those years left, we had a game going.
I see.
And he'd find information, and I'd find information, and it was a give and take.
And you say, ha-ha, look what I found.
Yes, right, right.
All right,
and
now.
so I could talk a week about that.
Okay, Texas State Network. No, it's not. We've got a few more minutes.
I know we just about used up our time, and I could talk a long time on this. I could talk about the early graves. That's what I was interested in when I started. But when I found that gravestone broken, and knowing that it was an ancestor of somebody, then I wrote a poem about it. And I wrote it, Pioneer Retirement, that he came there and built his home when he was an old man and died. And then I said to myself, the thing for you to do is start something, and somebody will pick it up. Well, I didn't get anybody to pick it up.
But you started,
but I
had to go ahead and
I
finish
couldn't
it.
stop when I got started. And this Carthage Cemetery out here is so big.
Yes,
It took me a week of all the time I could put in on a hot July. I'd go walk for a few hours and go home and cool off and go walk.
That's where I do my walking, and I see evidences of vandalism.
Oh yes,
from
it's
time
a
to
heartbeat.
time
And this is
so
why I
sad.
say the only secure records are written records that are put in safe places. And that's what I'm
and
trying
that's what
to do.
that facility is that you
that
you
we have
up
down there, and we're cranking up for it to be there 100 years from now.
We're greatly indebted
Yes,
for the work that is going on by
putting-
you and all
Well,
of the
we
people
have a lot of help
that
too.
work with you.
And we're accumulating a permanent fund that will take care of it after we're not around anymore. We don't want it to be vandalized again.
I want to tell the listening audience, of course, to follow this lady around. It would be a challenge, but every Thursday to come before this camera and the radio listening audience to present a program, you say, oh, gee, she does it so easy. She does it because she has researched, because she has worked, and because she has prepared herself. School teacher goes into the classroom. She doesn't do much teaching if she's not ready to start teaching and to do her research and have her lesson plan. And Ms. LeGrone would not be able to come and present us a program here every Thursday, I repeat, unless she did her research and her work and have her lesson plan. And sometimes there's some of these things that I don't mean to say that anybody can do it, but if you spend as much time getting it ready as she has, you can do a very
all of
reasonable job.
this I have worked on all these years, and for this today, since you said this, I've spent 6 hours getting it together.
Now, there you go, see? So it's no small task to come and do this, and I think the people of Panola County are indebted, and we appreciate you very much. This is not your obituary now this morning.
Well,
but we are getting close. We've got another 2 or 3 minutes.
I do want to mention two other things, and there's scores of other places to find records of ancestors. But these two obituary books that Ann Morris's high school students did, this is what came out in the newspapers from the beginning in 1873.
And that's in book form?
And that's in hardback book form, and it's in our library and in the public libraries all around. And this has what the newspapers said, and that'll give children and different things. It's in the microfilm of the newspaper. We have those microfilm also at the library, and you can look there. Then, to take care of the cemeteries that you can't find, the lost ones.
Yes.
Dear Don Austin, county surveyor.
He's a surveyor, isn't he?
Yes,
Okay.
and he has hunted them out and found them, and has put together a book of 40 lost cemeteries.
And you have that information?
We have that information. He has put it in the library.
All right, okay. Well,
so it's just amazing what we have. And this is why these people Tuesday just almost wore me out totally, bragging on what we had.
And boy, that sounds good.
It sounds
doesn't
good. I told Kathleen, my daughter, I says, we wanted people to respond, but we didn't want it all at one time. And she says, well, you can't, you got to take what comes.
Well, that's right. Well, it's brought us to the time when we're going to have to kiss
Never
all these
enough
folks goodbye
time.
here. So we want to thank you again, Ms. Legrone, for coming and presenting this interesting program, and we want to get the message over to our public that there is a wealth of very valuable
It's
information
there.
up there for those who are interested. And if you have something at home that you think, as a result of hearing this program, that would be information that they would need, or that you have that you wonder what to do with, you carry it up there, and they'll be glad to get it, and you'll be contributing to a worthwhile program that will be there now and forevermore.
For you and all of your descendants,
That's right.
and for all of the other people as well.
So until this same time tomorrow, when I will return to be your guest host with Sheriff Jack Ellett as our special guest, until that time, we bid you a very good day, and thank you for tuning and listening in.